Hello everybody and welcome back to SparkleDart. How are you all doing today? I know you're doing fantastic, otherwise you wouldn't be here. You'd be in bed laying down because you're sick or you got some sort of sinus infection or something's wrong with your bladder. I don't profess to know what's wrong with you, buddy, but hey, listen, I do know what's wrong with me, and I'll tell you what it is, and you're going to have to promise not to tell anybody else. Because I'm a very self-conscious boy, I don't like to talk too much about my therapeutical problems, the things that are wrong with my body and my bladder, and my elbows, my joints, the things that I use to bend down and pick up a pebble off the ground, and then throw it across the lake, and then someone's like, you shouldn't have done that because now the fish are gonna eat that pebble and think that it's like a worm or something, and they're gonna choke on it and die. And I'm like, that's not gonna happen. Why would that happen? That's the most asinine thing I've ever heard another human being say. And then they'll be like, I'm just gonna piss all over you. This goldfish is gonna piss all over me. Fire's powers weakened. Oh yeah, I'm super fucking scared about that. Little lady. Now let me tell you what. I don't like to make a big scene, but I think what you really did there was really stupid. I think you shouldn't have done that, and the fact that you did do that at all kind of goes to show that maybe you're not as mature of a person as you think that you are. Not that I'm trying to call anybody out here, but I will call you out, and that's just, that's just something that I'm going to do. If you are doing something stupid, I'm not going to sit here and take it, because that's just not what I like to. That's not what I like to do. I don't like to let people get away with things that they think that they can get away with just because nobody's going to call them out on the bullshit, and that's just what it's going to be here on SparkleDart. Listen, I have a lot of jokes I want to tell you, and here's the first one. It's hard to explain puns to a kleptomaniac because they're always taking things literally. You get it? Do you get the joke? The joke is that kleptomaniacs take things, and that's what they do, and that's the whole thing. That's why they're called kleptomaniacs. Here's another joke for you. Why did one cannibal say to the other cannibal when they were eating the clown? He said, "Does this taste funny to you?" That's another joke. Listen, pal. When you watch my show, you're gonna get jokes all the time. You're gonna get jokes 24 hours a day. Assuming you watch my show that many hours in one day. I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if there are at least 24 hours worth of content on my show yet, but there will be. And when there is, listen, buddy, friend, you will get jokes that many times. That long. Can you even comprehend how long that is? It's exactly one day. Well, not exactly one day. I could be a little bit more honest here. I could tell you that an actual day is more like 23.7 hours or something like that. It's not a full 24 hours, just like a year is not a full 365 days or whatever it was that it was supposed to be, that I forgot all about in the past because I didn't bother to internalize that information because it didn't seem relevant to me, and because I just didn't really care to, it wasn't interesting. That's why I didn't listen. That's part of why I failed out of college, is because it wasn't interesting, so I didn't listen. Ugh, I gotta burp. Here, let me burp for a second. Ugh. It's all out. It's all out there in the open. Now, anyways, like I was saying, I failed out of college, of course, because I didn't find it interesting. And at that point, you have to wonder, if you're going to college and you don't find it interesting, and then you decide to leave, you have to wonder, maybe I shouldn't have come here at all. Maybe I should rethink my course of action for the future. Maybe I should become a aromatherapist like my dad always wanted me to be, instead of trying to become an architect or whatever it is, dumbass thing that you're trying to do. Now, maybe you think to yourself, I'm a good guy. I pay my taxes. I go down to the homeless shelter and I give them cans of mushroom soup or whatever it is that you like to get, like mushroom extract, or cream of mushroom is what I meant to say. That was the thing that I was going to say. Now, anyhow, you're talking about how good of a person you are. You don't even know that there's a charity going on downtown for you to donate all of your old clothes that you aren't wearing anymore. Like, you bought a shirt from some band you don't listen to anymore, Metalhead or something like that. Metal Blade, that should be the name of a metal band somewhere that exists, probably, right? So you don't listen to that band anymore, but you've got like 2 shirts of theirs that you aren't wearing at all, and you, for whatever reason, you feel like you can't do anything to give positivity back to the community. But let me tell you what, you can. You just have to know where to look, and that's what it all comes down to, is you just have to know where to look when you're trying to make a difference. Now, when you are trying to make a difference, and this goes back to what I was saying a little bit ago, is you just have to understand that not everybody needs your kind of help, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's not the worst thing you could tell a person, to be quite frank, but you just have to understand that not everybody needs your help, and sometimes people will get upset with you when you do certain things, like offer to push their shopping cart out to their car when they're not, like, handicapped or whatever. And that's just, that's just how it's gonna have to be, because people don't always need help, and just because you want to help them doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily benefit you in the end, at the end of the day. So that's just what I'm saying, is be a good person, but don't be too good of a person, because sometimes people might think you're up to something weird, like, especially if you're like an older man trying to help out like a 20-year-old girl. She's probably gonna think you're trying to have sex with her, and honestly, it's a little bit egocentric, self-centered, that she might think that everybody is so attracted to her that they would go out of the way to try to have sex with her. But that's just how it is. Now, there's nothing... The fact that she thinks that has no bearance over whether or not you should do these sorts of things. I'm just saying, if she's struggling to push her cart out to the car, then maybe that's when you can ask if you can help. But if she looks like she's got it, just don't even bother her. Don't go over to her. Don't pull the box of ice cream sandwiches out of your car and offer her one, because she's not going to want that. She's going to think there's drugs in it or something like that. And if you're going to drug somebody, there's better ways to do it. I'm not going to tell you how, for two reasons. The first reason being that I don't know how to drug people, because I don't do that. I think that's wrong. And the second of which being that I don't condone drugging people, so don't do it. And that's just what it's going to have to come down to, is don't drug people. And if you want to do something like that, don't tell anybody that you got the idea from me, because honestly, I've been getting a lot of complaints saying, SparkleDart, you gave me advice on how to shake a baby. And I'm like, I never said anything like that. I never told you to shake your baby. Why are you shaking your baby? Please explain that to me, because it doesn't make sense. I don't understand why you would do something like that. And if you want to be a little bit more, if you want to clarify, I think I would appreciate that a little bit more than maybe you would think. So that's just what I'm going to say. Don't shake the baby. That's what it comes down to, is don'tShakeTheBaby.com. Check it out. Go there. There's a website. You can look it up. There's all sorts of cool information you can learn on don'tshakeyourbaby.com. I think most of the information you're going to learn there is how to avoid shaking your baby, part the name. But if you don't understand that, then maybe you shouldn't be having children at all, and that's what it really comes down to, is maybe you shouldn't be having children at all if you think for whatever reason that shaking a baby is okay. Now, let's move on to a nicer topic, like cheesecake. Listen, I just bought a cheesecake the other day, and it was a really good cheesecake, but it was one of those cheesecakes that comes with like 8 slices, right? And like there's 2 different slices of a different flavor, so there's like 4 flavors and 2 of each flavor on the cheesecake. And I only ate the normal, the plain one, the vanilla one, if you were to say so. Now, people say vanilla when they mean like plain, like not flavored or whatever, like that, that kind of thing. Like when they say vanilla Warcraft, it's in reference to like an unmodded version of the World of Warcraft, which I never got into, but I have heard a lot of bad things about recently, because apparently this company that makes this game, Blizzard, decided it was just going to fuck its user base. Like, it's just going to like grab them, turn them around, bend them over, and start fucking them. Like, it's okay to just do that. Like, we're paying you. Well, I say we liberally, because I'm not a part of that community. I've never played a massive multiplayer online role-playing game or nothing like that. I've never been a part of that sort of thing, so I use the term we very liberally, but here we go. Anyways, we have been paying you, Blizzard, for... Oh, I'm sorry for hitting my microphone. I hope that didn't spike your ears, or what. If it did, I don't really care, to be quite honest. And we're giving you like $15 a month, and the least you could do is give us what we want, because you wouldn't even be in business if it weren't for us doing these sorts of things for you, making your lives better, making your lives a richer experience in this humanity. Because, honestly, living in this world, it's very difficult to make your way around, make ends meet for the most part. You have to rely on the kindness of strangers, and if strangers aren't going to help you out, then who is going to help you out? Nobody is going to help you out, and that's super disappointing. But these people who play your game and pay for it month to month, they're essentially strangers, and they're just giving you money because you are offering to them a product that they like, and then you tell them that they don't get to have things that they want, and at that point you tell them, well, you don't want that. You don't want a vanilla server. And you're like, well, yes, I do want the vanilla server. And they're like, no, buddy, you don't want that. And you're like, yes, I do. Please give it to me. And then they say, no, we're not going to do that. The conversation is over. We're not going to pursue this conversation anymore because at the end of the day, you're the one paying for our product. You have no leverage over whether or not we make money because there are other people playing. And that's kind of when people say we need to boycott this, because if we boycott this, then they can't make money anymore and they have to listen to our demands. And I will tell you this right now, boycotting things does not work as well as you would hope it does. Boycotting is, generally speaking, a very inefficient way of making a change in this world. Now, that's like saying you go onto whitehouse.gov and sign a petition to make the United States build a Death Star or something like that. Yeah, it's real funny, and it's something you can tell to your friends who browses Reddit all the time and likes to spout memes that were popular like 5 years ago but aren't popular anymore because they were created on an anonymous image board of particular flavor and then brought to Reddit and then distributed around Facebook and made into something that everybody laughs at, even though they don't know where it came from and they think the jokes come from nowhere, even though they don't come from nowhere. Now listen, I used to make a webcomic. This is maybe going to be a little bit weird for you to comprehend because it does sound a little bit strange. I understand that. It sounds a little bit strange for me to say something like this because you wouldn't think, oh, SparkleDart, maybe you're a creative guy after all. You wouldn't think that that was true. But let me tell you what. I used to make a webcomic. I had a website and everything. And I posted these on a website. Maybe you've heard of it, called deviantart.com. And people would go there and they'd be like, haha, that's real funny. And then some people would take those comics and post them on their own blogs or on reddit.com or on Facebook or whatever. And I'm like, that's amazing. People are listening to my comics. They're laughing at the things that I'm writing and they're sharing them with their friends. And then after a while, it got to a point where more people had seen my comics on other websites than they had from the original source. And the people who were taking my comics were erasing my name and sharing them, as though to imply that they themselves either made the comics or to remove credit for whatever reason from the people who made it, because I guess that's an appropriate thing to do if you're somebody who shares content on the internet like Ray William Johnson does. Ray William Johnson, he's a fun guy. He had a picture of Christopherson Weston Chandler on his channel of him drinking his Fanta. If you know anything about Chris Chan, you know why that's disgusting, but I'm not going to spell that out for you because Chris Chan is a national treasure. He's a boy that I treasure. He's a boy that I appreciate, and he's someone that just has always been there for me in the past. And I would love to thank him, Chris Chan, formally, for giving me all these laughters in the past, giving me basically just a reason to continue day to day and not just lay in bed all day and eat Hostess donuts and whatever, just not enjoy my life anymore. So thank you, I appreciate that a whole lot. Now, moving on, I was talking about cheesecake earlier. I got one of those cheesecakes, and it was really good. And if you've never had cheesecake before, which you probably have because you're probably 22 or 23 years old and in college, and not necessarily living with your parents, but you live in a dorm and you go and visit your parents so often that it's like you still live at their house. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You make your instant ramen on your fucking microwave that they have in the laundry room because, haha, we're in college, we have to adhere to all these stereotypes, these college stereotypes, and if we don't, then it's like we're not really getting the full college experience, and it's like, well, you should probably just make your own fucking choices and not be such a fucking slave to what everybody else is doing and laughing about, because honestly, it's like when you go on like reddit.com and everybody's laughing about like dogs or like dogs going like, wow, such dog, or whatever, like that kind of thing. It's like, this is disgusting. How could anybody find this funny? I don't understand. It's just a dog with Comic Sans printed over his face or whatever. For some reason, people think that this is a funny thing, and I don't understand why anybody thinks that this is funny. I don't think anything is funny, but that's kind of my own fault. So maybe it is a funny joke, maybe it's not, I don't know, but I don't think anything is funny, and that's kind of what it comes down to, is that I'm just a miserable human being who doesn't like anything and doesn't like to laugh at anything, and would really rather that everybody just shut up for like 4 days, at least 4 days in a row, and I don't have to listen to anybody. I do have a Facebook page. I will say that I do use my Facebook page quite regularly, but I don't post on there and I don't laugh at shit. And if anybody tries to post something that they think is funny, I will probably just block them, because that's how this sort of thing tends to happen. Is I don't think anything's funny, and if you think that something is funny and I don't find it funny, then you aren't somebody worth having in my life. And that might sound a little bit closed-minded or whatever, but you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm not going to be the person. I'm not your moral compass. If you don't like the things that I say, then just stop listening. That's what it comes down to. Is I'm not your moral compass, and I'm just not somebody that you should take your opinions from, and that's just what it's going to have to be. So please, 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 just don't bug me. That's what it is. Just don't bug me. You know, I'm okay listening to you and your thoughts and your feelings and your ideas, and I will gladly entertain any of them, but I just don't have the time or energy to make that important to my life. So anyways, yeah, thanks for watching. I've been SparkleDart. Goodbye. Mwah.